The information you need relating to the sport you love, all within 5 minutes. NASCAR in 5 starts right now. This weekend, Cup and Truck race in Michigan, while the Nationwide Series goes road racing for the second week in a row, this time at Mid-Ohio. This weekend's schedule coming up, but first a look back to last weekend and Watkins Glen. AJ Allmendinger won the Cheese at 3:55 at the Glen. This is the first Cup victory for the Dinger and his team. Road racing ace Marcos Ambrose finished second. Kurt Busch, Kyle Larson, and Carl Edwards rounded out the top 5. After issues in the race, Jeff Gordon has lost his lead in the standings. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is now atop the points by 4 over Gordon. Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski, and Joey Logano round out the top 5. For more post-race coverage, visit carnets.ca and click on Closed Wheel Racing. Meanwhile, Marcos Ambrose won the Zippo 200 Nationwide Series race. Kyle Busch and Joey Logano finished second and third. Chase Elliott has stretched out his lead in the standings to 12 points over Regan Smith and an additional point over Elliott Sadler. It's time now for a news update. First, the developing story. The latest on the Tony Stewart incident in which Stewart struck and killed Kevin Ward Jr. during a sprint car race. Tony sat out last weekend's NASCAR Cup race at Watkins Glen and has now decided to do the same this weekend at Michigan. Jeff Burton will sub in behind the wheel of the number 14 Chevy. Stay with NASCAR 5 and carnets.ca for the latest on this developing story. In other news, Kevin Harvick's team has been penalized for unapproved added weight. Crew chief Rodney Childers has been fined $25,000 as a result. Harvick had to pit early in Sunday's race when it was discovered that a beanbag used to substitute for weight during setup was left in his number 4 Chevy. Martin Truex Jr. will miss practice and qualifying at Michigan as he stands by his longtime girlfriend Sherry Polix as she begins treatment for and recovery from ovarian cancer. Matt Crafton will sub in for Truex before Martin arrives in time for Sunday's race. And Wood Brothers Racing has announced that it has formed a technical alliance with Team Penske and that Ryan Blaney will drive the famous number 21 part-time in the Cup Series next season. Blaney is currently a Team Penske development driver, racing for Roger in select nationwide races, and full-time in trucks for Brad Keselowski Racing. Host of Raceline Radio, Eric Thomas, joined me on NASCAR 5 Canadian Tire Series edition to talk about Canada's NASCAR Series and its season thus far, working as Alex Tagliani's PR person, and more. The first part of that interview and more info on this weekend's race and the latest standings, NASCAR 5 Canadian Tire Series edition, can be seen right now here on my YouTube channel. Meanwhile, the next NASCAR 5 will be posted on Friday, August 22nd. But first, to wrap things up, this weekend's schedule. That is next. Here's a look at which races we'll be previewing for you next week here on NASCAR 5. The Camping World Truck Series will race at Michigan tomorrow with the Careers for Veterans 200. The race will begin shortly after 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time and will be broadcast on Fox Sports 1, Speed Channel, the Motor Racing Network, and SiriusXM. Qualifying will take place at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time and will air on FS1. The trucks will race at Bristol midweek next week on Wednesday. That schedule will be posted on my YouTube channel in just a little while. Meanwhile, the Nationwide Series will go road racing at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course tomorrow. The Nationwide Children's Hospital 200 will begin at about 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time and will be broadcast on ESPN, TSN2, MRN, and SiriusXM. Qualifying will be held tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time and will air on ESPN2. And Sunday, the Sprint Cup Series Pure Michigan 400 from Michigan International Speedway. The race will begin at around 1 p.m. Eastern Time and will air on ESPN, TSN, MRN, and SiriusXM. Qualifying is set for this afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time and can be seen on Fox Sports 1. Thanks for watching this week's edition of NASCAR 5. I'm Bryce Turner. Enjoy the races.